going to talk about Tigers and Panthers in version 4. Now, this will be a presentation, but I'm really trying to make content that you can go ahead and paint your miniatures and just listen along to the conversation and, yell at the podcast if you want to, or, you know, um, make some comments later. But it's really just to stimulate the mind and think about something while you're painting or just hanging out, walking around, going for a jog. So here we go. All right, so today's subject is going to be Tigers versus Panthers. Who has the advantage in version 4? In version 3, I made a video a long, long time ago about the differences between the two tanks, and my conclusion was it really depended um, on your play style and what you were trying to do in the game, who you were going up against. And I don't remember everything. I probably should have watched the video before this, but basically the Tiger had advantages against the Western allies, whereas the Panther did better or had a better matchup against the Soviet Union. And that was basically because of the difference in the power of their guns and the strength of their front armor. But things have changed in version 4, and I believe that one of these tanks has the advantage. So let's find out which one I think it is, and let's start with the Tiger. All right, so the Tiger, the basic, regular, run-of-the-mill Tiger that we're seeing right now, and this is without the SS book, um, is not a slow tank. In version 3, it was a slower tank. It had 8 tactical movement, basically, and it was at a disadvantage compared to other tanks. And it still has great overall armor. The armor has not changed for the Tiger tank, so 982 is still fantastic for the Tiger. It has an improved gun. Now the range is the same, but the anti-tank here is a little bit higher. It used to be a 13, and that makes a big difference against the Soviet tanks. They're going to have some better front armor, so you want that little extra action on your anti-tank gun. So it is terrific armor and gun, top notch. The stats, perfect. I mean, the only thing that you really are not going to get on a regular basis is a follow me, but that's okay because most of your rolls are going to be on the skill. We're talking about your blitz, your shoot and scoot, that sort of thing. So the Tiger tank, Germans really do rely on the skill, so you want that to be a 3. However, the two that really make a difference, especially for a Tiger on the motivation, are your last stand and remount. So if you get bailed out, you're going to get back in, and that's a big deal for a Tiger. And then the last stand is also a big deal because your platoons are usually small. It'd be, you know, 3, 2, maybe 1, depending on what you're talking about. So you want a good last stand on the Tiger, and so that is real important to have on these two stats. Of course, it's careful, hit on a 4 plus, as most Germans are, and as I said, the speed um, is not slow. It comes in at 12 points, so it is an expensive tank, but you're paying for it. You get what you pay for. Cross on a 2, you're just there's no weakness to this tank. It's fantastic. So let's take a look at the Panther now. Now the Panther actually got a little bit. It changed a little bit. It's nearly identical to the Tiger from the front. It used to be a front armor of 10, and they knocked it down to a 9. And they kept the gun the same, except the range went from a 32 to a 40. And it's got 2 more inches basically on its speed, cross of 2. So, as I said, it matches the Tiger's range now at 40 inches, which it didn't have before. Slightly faster on the dash, you get 2 more inches on your dash speeds. And it comes in at 11 points. Okay, so the Panther is close to the Tiger. Now you are saving 1 point, and that's about the same as point difference as I saw in version 3. but there was a difference. The Panther tank is different than the version 3 tank. So let's look at them side by side. Let's start with the motivation. As I said before, the confident on both of them are 4. The Tiger has a better last stand than the Panther, and the all-important remount. Getting back into that tank pretty much every single time. It's almost useless going after a Tiger and bailing it out. However, the Panther is not the same. The Panther will stay bailed. 50% chance it's going to stay bailed out. That's big for an 11-point tank. That's going to be a problem. Skill is the same, so they have the same advantages there. 4 up, same front armor, so no advantage for either. And I'm going to skip the other parts to get down to here just to show the identical weapons. Exactly the same. Range, anti-tank, firepower, machine guns, everything. So here are the main differences besides motivation. You get the 2 more inches on your dash, except for the road dash. That's 4 inches. Same cross. So there's not a huge difference between these 2 tanks when it comes to speed. Nothing that I would consider a game changer. So you get a little bit on the speed for the Panther. However, you give up 3 pips on the side and rear. Now this is huge because on the side, the Panther is very vulnerable to regular medium tanks, even some light tanks. I mean, a Stuart getting to the side, that's pretty embarrassing that you're still vulnerable to a Stuart, a light tank, if it can get to the side. And the Panther's not going to waste its ammo on a Stuart. They're going to go after the bigger tanks and try to take them out first so that they don't take them out from the front. It used to be a front armor of 10, which was more than enough to handle the Shermans and the Cromwells and so forth. But now it's going to, it used to have that advantage also against the Soviets with 10, where you go up against 85s and IS-2s and so forth. So the Panther used to be better suited for the Eastern Front, but now it's the same as the Tiger. I don't see a difference here. And then it's vulnerable from the side, whereas the Tiger doesn't care which direction it's pointed pretty much. It's going to be strong against everything from every direction. So this makes the Tiger an ideal assaulting tank. This is what these heavy tanks are for, going in, assaulting. Doesn't care if you hit it on the side too much. It's a little bit more vulnerable, but not that much more. And then, of course, the all-important top, where you're talking about aircraft bombing you, even artillery. I'm not too afraid of artillery, but you're much more vulnerable, twice as vulnerable on the Panther as you would be on the Tiger. Well, I shouldn't say twice as much. I mean, it's half the amount, but um, yeah, if you have an anti-tank of 4 regular bomb coming in, then you have to roll a 1 to be penetrated here, but a 1 or 2 gets penetrated, so you're really doubling it on that situation. So it is a major for getting 1 point to get all of this just for 1 more point per tank is quite. I can't say it's a deal because 12 points is still a lot of points. But if I were to choose between these two tanks, unless I'm playing a big game and I want, the Panthers can have more tanks in their platoons, I'm going to go with the Tiger every single time. I don't see the point anymore, and it kills me because I love the Panther tank. It is such a cool looking tank, really awesome, sleek. I like darting around the board and being very maneuver minded with the Panther tank and using guile rather than just brute strength because the Tiger was slower in the in version 3. Not really so. I mean, tactical's the same. 2 inches on the dash. I'm not seeing a big advantage here. I'm just not seeing what that 1 point is helping me with. And then of course the armor. You are in great shape with the Tiger wherever you're getting hit, front, back, top, doesn't matter. You're in good shape being protected, whereas the Panther has some serious vulnerabilities. So yeah, the Panther tank, as far as I'm concerned, they're going to gather dust. I think they were overcosted, and I think Battlefront should look at the Panther tank and I don't know, do something. Maybe I don't know if they looked at the research and said this is how far it's going to go. That's fine, you know, but the points is what they can change without worrying about being ahistorical. And they've done their research and they say that these are the stats, and that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with the stats. I do have a problem with the points because I'm just going to go with the Tiger when I play Germans. And so that's what I recommend. But wait, there's more. It gets worse for the Panther. The Tiger can get a Tiger Ace card for about 1 point per tank. You pay 3 points for the card, goes on the platoon, get a platoon of 3 Tigers, and that's 1 point per tank. It lets you roll for even more abilities like the old Tiger Ace rules. Even though you already get Tiger Ace on the card with your reroll, I mean not rerolls, but 2 for Last Stand and 2 for Remount, which should normally be 3 for the German special rule of Third Reich being a 3, and then your protected ammo for 3. You get another bump up just because they put the Tiger Ace on there. And then, basically for 1 more point, you get to roll for these abilities. You can get a scout rule so that you're gone to ground while moving, which is good. Again, I think that's probably the worst one because the Tiger is not afraid of getting hit too often, but can you imagine um, moving around in terrain and you can't even hit the Tiger. It's too hard to hit. Um, Reroll 1 firepower. That is huge. I mean, you have an awesome gun. You hit. You don't have too many shots. But if you blow that firepower, it doesn't matter if they have a 2 armor or a 6 armor, you're going to go right through it. But it's the firepower that always gets you on the Tiger. And to be able to reroll 1 firepower, that is a big deal. So I'm a big fan of that one. 3 halted shots for the commander. So this doesn't sound too big, but Dan got it recently. He had 2 tanks in his platoon, and it's a lot. It's used a lot more than I thought it would be because people are moving around and then they get halted and they shoot. And I'm thinking British, but with the Germans, you just keep blitzing. You shoot your 3 shots on the commander, and then you shoot and scoot, and you're moving 8 inches all the time. And with your good skill, you're probably going to get it, and you get that extra shot every single turn. So that is a good one to get. And then we've got the two plus blitz move. That's huge for Tigers. You just want to keep blitzing and shooting and scooting. And for the Germans, that's a really cool thing. And then you can also get a card for 2-up assaults. Again, Tiger tank, heavy tanks, they're really good at assaulting. So to have that 2-up and basically just maul anybody that gets in your path, gets in your way, that's a big deal. So those are added on to what you can put on the Tiger, and it makes the Tiger even more appealing to get. Getting a platoon of 3 Tigers and then getting the Tiger Ace card for 3 more points. You're looking at a 39-point platoon, but it is going to devastate. I'd much rather have that. I mean, think about a 44-point Panther platoon. That's 4 Panthers versus the Tigers. Head to head, not going to be, Panthers are going to have a little bit of advantage probably. But as far as usefulness on the battlefield, I would say the Tigers are going to do more damage than the Panthers. I'd much rather have the Tigers than the Panthers. So, if you need more guns, get the 88s. I mean, 88s, I'd rather have than Panthers. But if I need to move around, I want to spend those points, I'm going to go ahead and just get the Tigers. Again, the only reason I probably would get the Panthers is if it doesn't fit into the Tigers don't fit into my army, and I need those points, that 1 point per tank, to help fit the amount of points that I can use. That is the only time I can think of going for the Panther. Otherwise, I'm going for the Tiger. And yeah, so it's unfortunate right now that it's like that. Go ahead and put in the comments if you disagree, if you think the Panther is, even if it's just as good. Tell me why, because I don't see it right now. Um, And I would love to learn why the Panther is at least as good as a Tiger. Give me a reason to put that Panther in there other than it's a good tank and it looks awesome. Um, you know, I don't see as far as game mechanics why I would want a Panther platoon instead of a Tiger platoon. So, thanks for watching and thanks for listening. And go ahead and put down your opinion. Let me know. Let me know why I'm wrong, or let me know why I'm right. Either way, it's all good. So I'll catch you on the next time.